Meeting. We thank each and every one of you for being here, especially if you're a citizen who come to observe your city council and our staff as we continue to operate and maintain policy and establish policy for the operations of the city of Fayetteville. At this time, I will entertain the motion to, well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself, I call this meeting to order. And I've asked Councilman Darrell Langford to give us our opening prayer. After he finishes with the opening prayer, we ask that you would be kind enough to stand, face our flag, and cite our Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please accommodate? Councilman Langford.
Okay, if you will, let's go before the throne of grace. Heavenly Father, we come before you this day, Father, thanking you for allowing us to assemble as a city in the spirit of unity to properly handle the city's business. In your word, Father, it is said that, behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Father, please give us the ability to govern with wisdom and make decisions for the city that are pleasing to you and righteous for our citizens. For your word says that where the righteous are in rule, the people rejoice. Bless each and every one on this council, and bless each and every one of our staff. Father, we ask that you bless our first responders so that they can continue to do the safe business of this city. And Lord, please bless this great city and its citizens. These blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please stand and cite our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we welcome you. If you would like to have a copy, a hard copy of the agenda, see our city clerk, Ms. Chelsea Seaman. She has hard copies, but the agenda is projected on the screen so you could follow along. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda or any corrections or changes if needed.
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. The approval of the minutes of the May 16th, 2024 regular city council meeting. Council members, what is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay.
Abstain.
Okay. Noted for the record, Councilman Langford abstained. He was absent. The approval of the minutes of the May 28th City Council work session. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay.
Abstain.
One abstainer. Eight. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to move on to the next item, which is always a pleasure, is to do recognitions and presentations. And at this time, we're going to invite all of the members of our clerks of the municipal court to please come down. I'm going to ask the council members to come down from the dais, and so we can recognize our municipal clerks. Excuse me. You're creating a mess already. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure on behalf of the City Council to make this proclamation for Municipal Court Clerks Week. Whereas the municipal court clerks play a significant role in ensuring the municipal courts preserve public safety and promote quality of life in the city of Fayetteville and local municipalities across the state. Whereas More people come in contact with the municipal court clerks than all other city services combined, and public impression of the city of Fayetteville judicial system is largely dependent upon the public's experience in municipal court. Whereas the Fayetteville Municipal Court is committed to the notion that our legal system is based on the principle that an independent, fair, and competent judiciary will interpret and apply the laws that govern us. Municipal court clerks set a high standard in such a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. Therefore, I, Edward Johnson, Mayor of the City of Fayetteville, on behalf and with the City Council, do recognize the week of June 10th through June the 14th as Municipal Court Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal deputy senior court clerks, our chief court clerk, our municipal clerks, and all municipal court clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the community they serve and represent. Ladies, thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate you. Hey, let's give them another round of applause. We have our Chief of Police. Chief Scott Gray is going to come and recognize some of our officers for their significant achievements.
Some of those, they're back there listening to a call. Good evening, everybody, Mayor and Council. So recently, in the last couple of weeks, we've had 3 of our senior level leadership inside the police department graduate from the Northwestern University School of Police and Command staff. One of them can't be here tonight. He's under the weather. Deputy Chief Mask won't be present. But the School of Police and Command program is a 10-week program in which our employees went 2 weeks a month out of their busy schedule and started in January of this year. They completed it May 24th, and they earned 400 hours of Georgia Post credit and 16 and a half semester hours of college credit. SPSC provides public safety leadership and management education that helps experienced law enforcement professionals succeed in senior command level positions. As part of our succession planning here in the city of Fayetteville and the police department, we invest in our employees and send them to schools such as the Northwestern University School of Police Command, Southern Police Institute at the University of Louisville, and the FBI National Academy. These programs are vital in preparing our future supervisors, leaders, upon much growth within our organization and city. If you will please congratulate Lieutenant Tyrone Beard, Lieutenant Ben Jenkins, and Deputy Chief Robert Mass for their accomplishments from graduating from the Northwestern School of Police and Command Class 569, if they'll come up.
You got it. Come a little closer. All right. Cheese.
Let's give them another round of applause. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to commend our officers for pursuing academic excellence and performance and gaining all of the education that they can that makes them more professional as they encounter the citizens in the performance of their duties. And it allows them also to gain the leadership and the education that will make them successful command level staff officers as they continue to lead our police department, along with our Chief Scott Gray, who has multiple degrees, and he'll remind you. So thank you all. So let's give them another round of applause. We'd like to move on to public hearings. We'd like to consider Resolution R-2724, the adoption of amendments to the 2022 update to the comprehensive plan, presented by Community and Economic Development Director, Mr. David Rast.
No applause?
Yes. See what you got. We see what you got.
There you go.
You'll get my applause if you can do it quick.
We've been working on updates to the comprehensive plan, the future land use map, as well as the UDO to make sure that all those are consistent. What we're presenting tonight are the changes we've made to the comprehensive plan. Essentially, if you remember, in one of the chapters, we identified zoning that we recommended or should be recommended within each of the land use districts. We've removed that so that that gives us more flexibility to make sure that what is being proposed is what we want to see within those. So those are the changes that we are bringing forward to you tonight. I've only included chapter 4 because this was the only chapter where there were changes. So essentially we just took out, we kept the primary uses that were recommended, but we removed the recommended zoning from those. Some of that was not consistent with the UDO and some of it was not consistent with how we wanted these areas to develop.
Any questions from the council for Mr. Rast? Any questions on this item from any of the citizens? Hearing none, council members, what is your pleasure with this resolution?
Move to approve Resolution R-27-24, amendments to the 2022 Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Thank you, David. Next item is to consider Resolution R-2824, the adoption of amendments to the future land use map. Once again, Mr. David Rast.
Yes, sir. We are recommending one small change to the future land use map that was adopted when the comprehensive plan was approved. If you recall, we've had a couple of requests to rezone property along North 85 Parkway. It's a combination of retail and industrial uses or commercial and industrial uses within that district. And we are recommending that that entire land use designation for that tract of land be changed to industrial. The previous drawing shows you the limited number of properties that are designated for industrial use, and this would give us a little more land and also be more consistent and compatible with the uses that are currently along that roadway. So we took this to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they were unanimously in support of making this change.
David, I had one question, and that is, do we make a distinction, light industrial versus heavy industrial? Because as you know, that area can be sought out by heavy industrial. In fact, some of the types of industry that we don't want.
Right. In the land use plan, we just changed the designation to industrial, but on the zoning map, we do have some tracts that are zoned light industrial and some that are zoned general industrial. And again, this would allow those to be consistent with the future land use map And then as the properties, or if properties along that roadway come in to be rezoned, then they would be consistent with the future land use map.
Okay? Any other questions for Mr. Rass on this item?
So David, you're saying that when it comes before the council, they'll make that decision about light or
Light
heavy
industrial,
industrial at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not recommending changes to the zoning map. Those would be considered on an individual basis.
Okay. Any other questions from the council? Any questions from the citizens on this item? Council members, what is your pleasure?
Move to approve Resolution R-2824, the adoption of amendments to the future land use map.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. And item number 7, consider ordinance 0-13-24, the adoption of Amendment 3 to the Unified Development Ordinance. Likewise, Mr. David Rast.
Yes, sir. We are proposing recommendations to the UDO. This would be our third amendment, and we've had 1 or 2 work sessions with council to kind of go over what these amendments were proposed, and also from the feedback we received from council, we modified the UDO. So rather than give you the full 477 pages to review, we gave you the nice summary of what's being proposed.
Thank you.
And once this is adopted, we will publish the UDO as with Amendment 3 included.
Any
Primarily, if you want to go page by page, one by one?
No.
No?
I think you get,
Applause?
any questions for Mr. Rast on this item? Any questions from the citizens on this item? Hearing none, council members, what is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that we approve ordinance 0-1324. Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Thank you, David. Appreciate you keeping us with that housekeeping on the UDO and the future land use map. Item number 8, ladies and gentlemen, consider request from Jeff Martin to appeal the decision made by Planning and Zoning Commission on April 23rd, 2024 to deny the conceptual site plan application for City Gates located at Highway 92, parcel numbers 0517028, and presented by Ms. Catherine Prickett.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, Catherine.
At the April 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, staff presented a conceptual site plan for the property located at Highway 92 South. It's an undeveloped, heavily wooded parcel right next to Ingalls. I will show you. The property is zoned neighborhood commercial, and the proposed use at the time for the original conceptual site plan was for outdoor recreational use. That is allowed by right in the NC zoning, and it also aligns with the future land use map designation for neighborhood residential 1. Staff did support the original project based on the zoning and the standards of review in the UDO. Unfortunately, the applicant was not present for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting hearing in April, and the project was denied. With the applicant's appeal, new proposed uses were introduced. A cursory review of the UDO with the new uses applied. We found that a conditional use permit would be required, so no longer do those uses that were proposed are allowed by right. So should council vote to overturn the planning and zoning denial, the applicant is subject to the following conditions and understandings, numbers 1 through 5, shown here.
Okay. Council, got any questions on the conditions?
Is the applicant okay with these conditions?
Well, I'm gonna ask him to come up
Okay.
next. Okay. Okay, any questions for Ms. Prickett? Anything else, Catherine?
Not at this time,
Okay.
thank you.
At this time, we'll ask the applicant to come up if you would like to make a statement. Love to hear.
If you want to look at any of the slides, this will go back to your site plan. Okay.
All right. My name's Jeff Martin. I'm the applicant. And the new thing that came up was the farmer's market. When I first brought the idea to the city, the hope was to build a pavilion so the city would have somewhere to send people that have been calling into the city to use the pavilion. It's a very public use park, very low impact on everything. The hope is just to get everyone together, to get people to get used to being around each other again, and not so much in the social media network, but actually where you might even bump each other occasionally. And so the produce stand was an idea that was put to me from the city as well originally, was a pavilion and a produce stand. We don't have to do the produce stand, but when I mentioned it to the city, I have a lot of petition and people came. We started getting produce together and got with some Vietnam veterans and started collecting food and giving it away. And the city began to urgently want some kind of year-round opportunity to get their farm going again and sell their product in the city. So in the county, there's a lot of farms around that have nowhere to sell their product really, and the guys are getting in their 90s and stuff. So my hope was to get them some help, get the farms back to life, and they can bring their product somewhere in Fayetteville. It doesn't have to be at this location, or I'm really willing to go through almost whatever it takes to get some kind of option for these guys to do this, to get them to sell the produce there. If they're making tomatoes and honey, and some ladies are teaching how to do sourdough bread and different stuff, I kind of need the learning experience and the canning and stuff back in the city. I have hope for it. I think it not robbery to say the Lord sent me to undivide a house, and if I can get some learning and some fellowship involved, is my first step. But we don't have to do the marketplace, but I would like to do it at another time or whenever, however you guys think it's fit. It's designed for the city. Each one I build is designed for that city specifically. So you really, the citizens and the council have the freedom to pretty much design this park with us.
Thank you, Mr. Morton. I appreciate your altruistic reason for wanting to develop that in that location. However, as we looked at the location and the staff discussed it with you, I think that permitting for what you want to develop in that particular location is not necessarily in line with what our comprehensive plan calls for.
Okay.
I'm going to ask if council members have any other comments for Mr. Morton.
Open it up to the public.
Well, I go back
we
to,
will. We will, yeah.
I go back to my original question is
Yeah.
that these 5 recommendations, are you okay with the recommendations?
Any additional structures, should the applicant want to pursue the farmer's market? Outdoor display, conditional use permit, that makes sense. Future design can incorporate safe path of travel for residents. I actually met with, when the last hearing, there was about 40 of the Fayette Meadows residents that came here to disagree with it. 'Cause they thought I brought this remote control car, they thought it was gonna be go-karts and monster trucks or something, so I brought them to see what it is. And I met with Fayette Meadows over at their HOA and had a large meeting and took them to the location and everything. And some of them weren't interested. They were specifically kind of against having any kind of, multi-use path to the park. They said, what if we don't want any multi-use path from Fayette Meadows anywhere in the city? But they're very important to me and I want to honor them. But yeah, I'm willing to go all the way with it and meet some. I'm sure there's going to be more requirements as we go because it's dominantly veteran staffed, and so I'll even need help. I have quite a few veterans now that want to participate, but I'm sure there's going to be more. So we'll meet requirements and make changes and kind of grow with it. I will accept. I think it'll be good.
No other questions, comments from the council? I'd like to ask if there are any citizens who would like to come and speak on behalf, either for or
Can you
against.
sit down?
Yes, sir, if you
Okay.
don't mind. Unless you just want to stand next to it. Yes, ma'am, please come up. No, please come up to the mic, please come up to the microphone so we can ask you to identify. Yeah, just, okay. Wanted to get you on the record, ma'am, so who you are and what your position was.
David, or Catherine, I have a question. If this was just to be a market, a farmer's market, what zoning would it have to have? Does it have to have a conditional use?
The zoning, we have the zoning, he has to come back and apply, go through the process for an actual conditional use permit, which would have to be heard by Planning and Zoning Commission and voted on at that time.
Okay. All right, thank you.
It might take me about 6 months or so to get towards the farmer's market aspect of it. So it's kind of a later date thing, but if the city wants me to have it, I'm willing to do it.
And Mr. Martin, you own this property outright?
Rod Wright and I.
Okay,
Yeah, we've had it for 4.5 years.
okay. All right. Council members, what is your pleasure? Councilman Langford? Yeah.
When I looked at this, Mayor, I thought along the same lines as you did, as far as our comprehensive plan. Our comprehensive plan is something that was created and presented to the people of the city. So as far as I'm concerned, that's sort of like a covenant that we've already agreed to with the citizens, and I think we need to stick to what we created in our comprehensive plan. So, and
Any questions on what it looks like? I think the drawing.
Jeff, come on to the microphone so we can hear you.
I drew the drawing myself, and I'm not a engineer, but I drew it to scale. Is there any questions? I could see we would get lost in there. There's not actually any structures other than a pavilion and a bathroom. That's right. Look at that. Cool. The rest of it is wooded lot, and I've got this laser pointer right here. Bow bow. So this little area right here remains wooded, and those little remote control cars come in and citizens can participate together. This remains wooded. The brown path is just mulch in the trees, and the driveway coming in is gravel. And it's just a little gravel parking lot. It's all gravel. The hope is to keep it minimum impact. So there's walking trails, everything is wooded. There's not like a concrete everywhere. I think the only concrete would be the pavilion and the handicap spot. And everything else remains really wooded and open. And the paths are real simple and easy to traverse. I spoke with the police department and the fire department and some of the veterans, and they mentioned that they'd be willing to participate in the laser tag cooperative challenge. So it would be like a police officer and 5 citizens participating with a firefighter and 5 citizens, and a veteran and 5 citizens. The hope is just to get undivision. But if there's any questions about the layout, feel free to ask me, because I didn't draw it with the best labeling.
If there are no other questions from council, no other questions from the citizens or comments, council members, what is your pleasure?
Move to uphold the planning and zoning denial of the concept plan for the city gates located at Highway 92 South.
second.
Properly moved and seconded that we uphold the Planning and Zoning Commission's denial, of this project. Call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Jeff, I hope that you would be willing to work with our staff again, come back with a plan that fits. And I think that, your desire to help our farmers and those who are growing crops is commendable. But I think we need to find something that's appropriate for that location. And, appreciate you as one of our citizens trying to help. But at the same time, we need to make sure that it fits within the confines of the expected area, okay? But thank you so much.
The farmer's market, though, wasn't the original application.
Right, understand that.
That
Okay,
was just suggested from the city to do it.
got you. But again, talk to our staff and find out what's best fitted, and that's in line with the comprehensive plan and the UDO and the future land use.
Come up with a better design for the lot.
Well, I will let you work with the staff on that. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to move on to reports and comments. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you see from the overhead, a lot of events coming up. I'm not going to walk through all of them, but this Saturday we do have our next concert, Mother's Finest. Will be in town. Happy belated birthday to Councilmember Scott Stacy. Last Friday, May 31st, was his birthday. What, 45? 46. Okay, just making sure. As you all know, too, we've had our Junior Fire Academy happening this week, and they'll be graduating here tomorrow at Council Chambers at 3 p.m. I know that's been a lot of fun from what I've heard. And then I'd also like to recognize our CPM graduates, Certified Public Manager graduates from this last class. Kelvin Joyner, Julie Brown, and Cajun Rhodes are all graduates of this year's class, so let's give them a round of applause. Apparently Julie did all the work is what I heard, so. And then last but not least, we did launch our mental health initiative platform this past week. And I'd like to thank Councilmember Dr. Nia Glover for her leadership to get that up and running. It's going to be an excellent resource for the city to utilize. And I look forward to what's going to happen beyond this as we create a board and start looking at some important initiatives here at the city for mental health. And that's it for me.
Thank you, City Manager. Council members, any committee reports, anything that's on your mind you'd like to share with the citizens?
Other than to say that we should also bow our heads for a minute, remember that today is D-Day, March the 4th, the 6th in 1944.
Can we pause, ladies and gentlemen, just for a moment of silence and remembrance of all those who gave their life on that tragic day? Thank you. Other council members, anything? You got a plane to catch, is that what it is?
I got a plane to catch.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the mayor, I have nothing other than to say we're getting in.
I was going to stop you before you ended, so why don't you finish, and then I have one quick thing to add.
You have the floor. You are with
Okay, well, I wanted you all to know, as you know, Priya Patel has not been at the meetings lately, and she and her husband welcomed their baby boy last week. He was born on the 30th. His name is Liam Shalan Patel. So if you see or hear from her, congratulate her.
One day off from mine.
Thank you,
They were
Patrick.
hoping, they were really hoping.
Thank you. We will make sure we extend congratulations to the family on the beautiful birth. Ladies and gentlemen, we now open up the floor for public comments. If you're here to address the council on compliments, commendations, or criticisms, please feel free to come up to the microphone. You have 3 minutes to make your comments, and we would love to hear what's on your mind. If you're here, please come up, tell us your name, your address, and whatever it is you'd like to state. No one for public comments?
Hey, Richard, did you want to come up and get this little car here?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Hi, my name is Nancy Vickers. My address is 170 Chesterfield Court. What else did you want to know?
That's it, your name?
Okay. Referring to his plan, you said it didn't comply with the original plan. What is the original plan for that area?
I said with a comprehensive plan.
The comprehensive plan.
That was designed primarily for residential and commercial, correct, Catherine? Okay.
And what is, aren't parks considered in the residential area?
That is not.
What are parks?
That's amusement parks, and that does not fit within residential or commercial zoning. Go ahead, Catherine, please.
Okay.
In the report, I was referencing Mr. Martin's original conceptual site plan that staff reviewed. When the Planning and Zoning Commission denied the concept plan, he had to formally appeal, and with that formal appeal, he added new uses. So in my presentation, I was referring to his original plan for that site. So the original conceptual site plan for recreational use, such as drones and those vehicles, was supported by staff. during his appeal, he added uses that are not to code without getting a conditional use permit, which has to go back to the Planning and Zoning Commission, reviewed, approved at that level.
I think there was a mistake there in the reading. Like I was saying earlier, it wasn't an added use. I was just mentioning what the city mentioned to me and asked me to do, and I said I was willing if the city wanted me to. But the only thing that I was approving or going through was the first plan, so nothing was changing. I was just
So
agreeing.
when you submit a written formal appeal and
That's right,
and you
yes.
add information, and
Yes.
we present it to city council and they vote, and they approve it, then anything that you have in your list of proposed uses for your project narrative would be approved. Some of those uses would not be illegal without a conditional use permit. So we were at staff level making sure we were doing our due diligence and not approving something that was not legal by zoning by right.
Mr. Martin, I'd just get with staff after the fact. and
That's what I'm
have
going to
that
suggest,
discussion.
for your understanding, is that,
A little confusing.
Yeah, we're not in open session for a public hearing right now, so.
yeah, okay? Okay. I mean,
Thank you.
you're welcome, ma'am. Any other comments from the citizens? Hearing and seeing none?
Motion to dismiss, or to,
You're not sure what you want to do, are you?
yeah, motion to go home. There you go.
City manager, is there anything else coming before the council? No, sir. Motion on the floor by Councilman Hoffman that we adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Properly moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposers, you can stay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please, have a good